Oh, let me tell you how wrong I was about this story. Welcome to the Time Treadmill. I'm Ron, and these are my sweaty thoughts about Doctor Who. As I mentioned yesterday, my first surface impression of the web planet was that it was going to be terrible. I mean, it just looked terrible. But about 3 years ago, I watched this story for the first time and I was completely blown away. If there's any flaw at all to this story, it's that the show's reach has exceeded its grasp. The technology just wasn't there in 1964 to really do this story justice. But let me back up and explain the story itself to start. The concept of the web planet is that the TARDIS arrives on the planet Vortis, right in the midst of a brewing war between multiple insect species. First, you have the Zarbi, the giant ant people, who are under the control of a force known only as the Animus. And in a lot of ways, the Animus reminds me of the cordyceps fungus. It's a living energy force that has grafted itself onto the Zarbi, and it's building an ever-growing fungal web that will eventually envelop the entire planet. Then you have the Menoptera, the moth people. This is a race that was forced off the planet by the expansion of this fungus, taking refuge on another nearby world, and now just returning to try to reclaim their planet while there's still time. And then at the midpoint of the story, we discover yet another species, the Optera, these underground grub creatures which think anything from the surface is an enemy. Cast into the middle of that, you have the TARDIS crew with the Doctor and Ian and Vicky held prisoner in the middle of the expanding fungal dome. And then you have Barbara as a prisoner of the Zarbi put to slave work in the Crater of Needles along with several D-winged Menoptera. And rapidly approaching is the Menoptera invasion force, the spearhead that will free the planet. This is just fantastic, heady science fiction stuff. And this story is truly unique as being the only one in Doctor Who history that I'm aware of in which none of the supporting characters are human or humanoid. It's 100% insectoid supporting characters, and the producers of the story went so far as to hire a dance movement specialist, Rosalind de Winter, to invent all of the insectoid movements. And in fact, she did so good at it that they wound up casting her in the lead role of one of the Menoptera. And so all of the movements are very alien, non-human, insectoid gestures. And if the costumes aren't perfect, they really are pretty dang great and evocative. And what the costume designer accomplished with the budget they had was just phenomenal. I love this story. So what can I say? Initially, this story for me was the white whale of the DVD that I just couldn't acquire. And then it turned into the revelatory story of when the writers of Doctor Who really tried to metaphorically spread their wings and try something really bold and ambitious. And I think they succeeded. I suppose if you're just some new Doctor Who fan who's only seen the new stuff and sampling classic Doctor Who for the first time, you might look at this and not get it. And I understand that. But to me, the artistry underneath this, the ambition, the writing, it's all so good, and I am loving every minute of it. I'm so looking forward to getting right back at this tomorrow to wrap up the story. And I hope you'll be here with me too. I'll see you then.